So good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this afternoon's English Australia webinar, which is presented by English Australia corporate affiliate OpenLearning. And I'm especially excited today to announce that English Australia has partnered with OpenLearning to deliver its continuing professional development resources to members. We're currently building a new suite of professional development courses aligned to our CPD framework within OpenLearning, and we hope to begin making these courses available from August this year. I particularly like the social constructivist learning approach that OpenLearning has, and I feel that this move for English Australia will help to bring ELICOS teachers closer together across the sector. So I'm very excited about the partnership. In today's webinar, you'll hear from a panel of experts about opportunities to meet the needs of learners at scale using OpenLearning. And now I'd like to introduce today's panelist. I'm pleased to welcome Gizelle Rezende, who's the Head of Partnerships at OpenLearning, Donna Cook, who's the National Manager at ACU English Language Centre, and Gardiner, who's the lead teacher for the UNSW Transition Program Online, which is powered by OpenLearning. So thank you, panelists, for joining us today.
Thank you.
And Gizelle, I'll hand over to you now.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gizelle Rezende. I'm the Head of Partnerships at OpenLearning, and I'm delighted to be here today with our partner, English Australia. So thank you, Donna, for joining us, and Jay also for joining us this afternoon. Let me quickly go through the agenda today. So welcome and introductions, and we'll be exploring a little bit on why your organization should have an online strategy and how OpenLearning can support you in that journey. And then Jay and Donna will drive us through some real-life examples, how their institutions are using the platform and thriving. We will have time for Q&A at the end. So please make sure you pop your questions on the Q&A box, and we will try our best to answer the questions. Great. So I thought I would just start our talk with some trends and facts about EdTech. So I start with this number, 1 million, this overwhelming number. So the Tech Council in Australia said Australia will need 1 million tech workers by 2025. That means we will have to reskill, upskill 260,000 people in the period of 4 years. That's the size of the opportunity on that sector alone. We hear a lot about hands-on soft skills. New skills are constantly required to adapt and change. EdTech is incorporating traditionally hands-on soft skills disciplines. The EdTech model is pushing through teaching only data-heavy subjects and really venturing into other areas such as blue-collar profession. An increasing number of organizations are providing short courses to the insatiable need to upskill globally, and also partnering with private providers. That's an interesting opportunity, that private education institution partnership. Study anywhere, that's another point. EdTech is allowing people to access and companies to recruit both learning and working opportunities are remote. Remote learning is embedded in the fabric of society now. Scalable EdTech solutions can help your institution overcome capacity constraints. 27 EdTech unicorns globally. Why is that relevant for your business, you might think? This point underscores the dramatic acceleration of a trend towards integration of edutech and the education market. There's a lot of opportunities for education institutions and some threats as well, which I find a very interesting subject. Next. So I'm here and you say, okay, why? Why are you here? Why should your organization have an online strategy to diversify your markets and your revenue streams? You might gain access to markets that otherwise you wouldn't have access to. Therefore, you then de-risk your business model. Tech solutions online can allow you to engage with future students and alumni, continue the relationship with those students that already have emotional connection to your brand. Therefore, making your organization extend the life value of your customer. You can develop training, staff training programs that may impact your staff retention rate, but also it may be another arm of your business to supply that service to companies. Therefore, you'll be expanding your revenue streams and amplify your ecosystems in partnerships. That will increase your flexibility and ensure your organization remains relevant in the future. So, what are your organization's barriers to implement and grow an online strategy? What is it? Is it time? Oh, I'm too busy doing my day-to-day job and I know this is important, but I can't get there. Is it resources? Yeah, we are growing. I work with international education. It's booming, real skilling. I know we have so many inquiries. We don't have enough resources. We know that's important. We need to get there. Or is it know-how? We have this brilliant content that it's great face-to-face, but we might not have the know-how in-house that can take that brilliant content and make it brilliant on an online format. So let me take a step back and just talk to you a little bit about Open Learning, who we are, and how we are a one-stop solution to launch your digital offering. Open Learning was founded here in Australia in 2012, and it is publicly listed. We have a head office in Sydney and Kuala Lumpur. We have a marketplace with 5 million enrollments globally. We work actively with over 200 education institutions globally. And we have our own customer service team. We do not outsource it. And we have people located everywhere in the globe. So we really cover all time zones for our students and our partners. So let me drive you here from what we can offer you and support your organization and implement and growing your online strategy. This is a service we've been providing to some of our partners. We work with your content, our project management, our award-winning learning design team, and the outcome, the revenue is 100% yours. The first phase of it, we meet, we curate, we plan. We all work on prioritization of courses based on market insights. We redefine and define your target audience. You can work with our design team can design, review, and develop the courses for you. Or we can do that in conjunction with your own team. We then review, launch, and bring this new revenue to life. This is a great way for you to overcome any barriers you might have at the moment in getting started with your online strategy. So how is that? How do we do it? We support our partners in 3 broad areas: market reach, learning technology, certification technology. Market reach, putting quality online courses online so you can open up to new markets that otherwise you wouldn't have access to. We support you and your team in repurposing existing content and improving your delivery efficiencies. It might be through flipped classroom, it might be through blended learning. The learning technology, we support you in course design, course discovery, and course delivery. Again, how can we make it more efficient? If you are playing in the international space, how can you maximize the online hours that is allowed by curriculum in your disciplines that you are delivering? We can support you in making it efficient and engaging. Certification of tech analytics. This is crucial if you are delivering an online course. Through the platform, you can tell exactly the behavior of your students in your course. You can tell where they're staying, what part of your course students are dropping off. This is very important because it gives you an ability for constant improvement. We have assessments and verifiable certifications. So those are three important areas that we can support you in that journey. So, but that's great. But how does it, what people are actually doing? How does it work in practice? So I just want to go at a very high level in some examples of some partners that are currently using the platform. International House, for instance, is using OpenLearning to engage with future students, and also using OpenLearning to partner with vet colleges in Asia for credit-bearing partnerships, extending the relationship in markets that they otherwise wouldn't have access to. English Australia is using the platform, as Sophie has pointed out, for professional development for their membership. This is a great way for you to use, it might be professional development for your own staff, or professional development that you might offer to organizations that need to do that to their staff. So then you open up your revenue channels. UTS is a completely different case study in the platform. UTS is using the platform for short courses. It's basically a marketing tool for lead generation. So we have like very different case studies, and that gives you a broad idea on practical terms how our partners are using the platform. Next one. But now we will have time. I know that was really quick, a lot of information. I'd love to talk to you more about that in depth, how we can support your organizations. But I'm really excited to hear from our partners how they're using it, what is the impact in their organization, and what is the impact on the students on their online delivery. So I'm inviting Jay, who is the lead teacher for the TPO program that is delivered, powered by OpenLearning, delivered by University of New South Wales Global. Jay will be talking particularly about the delivery of our academic English. Welcome, Jay.
Thanks, Gizelle. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. So as was mentioned, I am the lead teacher for the transition program online, which is a suite of courses used to help students transition, as the name suggests, from, say, secondary education into tertiary education. So we have a number of subjects that we offer, about 14 in total across 4 streams. And academic English is the cornerstone of all streams. It's the one subject that every student in our platform, or who studies with our platform, has to attend. And I'm the subject matter expert as well for that subject, so it's my subject. I suppose if we think of online learning, we're quite familiar with the concept and the format of online learning, having a portal to log in and access content. That there are different versions of that, and I think what we've got here is quite novel. As Gizelle mentioned, I think a couple of slides ago, we do have, the fan favorites, the flipped classroom method, the blended learning methodology. And I think Sophie mentioned it in the first part of the talk, that we also engage social constructivism as an underpinning methodology for our courses. So what does that actually mean? Well, as always, flipped classroom, the teaching happens mostly outside the classroom through the content that the students engage with on the platform. And then when they do have time with the teacher, it's more for practical learning and application of the knowledge they've acquired. We don't have classes per se in the traditional sense that it's not lecture style. It's actually, they're set up as Q&A sessions, question and answer sessions. And so the students come with questions from what they've studied so far in their weekly learning journeys, and they engage with the teacher and with other students to try and resolve or answer their questions and enhance their learning. This happens over the course of, for our program, about 13 weeks, plus a couple of weeks of assessments. Next slide, please, Sophie. So the learning journey itself, as we said, is a weekly self-paced study program, coupled with the Q&A sessions with the teachers. They have 2 Q&A sessions per week of 1 hour each. And in some subjects where the content is a little bit heavier, like design subjects, then they might have a longer Q&A session. And the assessment is partly portfolio based. So on a weekly basis, they'll complete activities and assessments as part of a portfolio of work that's assessed by the teachers. And then at the end of our programs, we have, or sometimes in the middle as well, we have invigilated exams, progress exams and final exams. And we also use a final interview model, a high stakes final interview, as an alternative to just exams or just portfolio. And through those interviews, we have the opportunity to really engage with the students and ask them questions and guide them through demonstrating their ability and demonstrating the knowledge related to the content of the course. And so we're able to, I suppose, reach an agreement on what they have learned and what they can apply now in real life. All the way through the learning journey, of course, we have study coaches who are working directly with all of our students. And their main function is to support the students through their learning, guide them, and also to, I suppose, help them stay on track, keep motivated, and of course, they also help the teachers on the Q&A sessions in as much as some of the moderation work. Beyond that, the big question that might get raised is academic integrity. And it's something that we're taking very seriously and we continue to improve upon. And we have a number of tools that help us reduce or mitigate risk of cheating or plagiarism. We have the Know Your Learner suite, which includes Turnitin. I think everyone's already familiar with Turnitin and how Turnitin works. But beyond that, the Know Your Learner tool also has other features. So it will detect, for example, the user agent if they switch to a different browser. It will detect that and it will flag it, and it will run some tests to verify the identity of the person. Geolocation, so if they switch to a different IP address, they go to someone else's house, they will have to reconfirm their identity. Facial identity check, of course, and not just facial recognition, but it actually records video, a few seconds of video, and uses that as a means to confirm the identity of the person who's logging in and using the platform, and also keystroke profile. So it also records the behaviors of their typing and measures that against other input of the same student login. And it can sort of identify, this person is typing in a very different way to usual. Perhaps that could trigger another identity check activity to verify the person using the platform. So I think that's a good overview. As far as our student cohorts, we have about 5 cohorts a year, and completion rates are usually quite high. They don't always lead to an offer, but generally speaking, most students do get an offer, maybe a first round or second round offer. And those who don't have the option of retaking the program to improve their chances the second time around. And my final slide here today for you just gives an idea of the diversity of nationalities that can and have attended our program. And you can see it's people from literally all over the world have attended or joined our program, and they connect remotely from those countries most of the time before they get their offers. So hope that was helpful. If anyone has questions, happy to answer them.
Thank you, Jay. That was great. And I love to see how diverse that cohort is. It really supports the notion that it really helps your organization diversify your markets, enrich markets that otherwise you don't have access to, or you don't have the budget for marketing and field trips. So thank you. Great. There's a couple of questions on the Q&A box directed to you, Jay, so it would be great if you could look at those. So thank you. That's great. So Donna.
Hi, Gizelle. So my name is Donna Cook. As Sophie said, I'm the National Manager for the ACU English Language Centre. Now, our program was very different to Jay's, both in scale and audience. We, like most every other language provider and education provider out there during COVID, had to engage differently with our students and with our partners overseas, with our university partners in particular. So we had a relationship with a university in Rome, and the plan was before COVID that we would go to Rome and run workshops in the summer vacation to upskill the PhD students who were wanting to publish their theses in English. So that was very exciting. I personally was probably going to get a trip to Rome, which would have been amazing. But of course, COVID happened and that didn't happen. So we had to work out a way to engage with this partner to meet this partner's needs differently. And open learning was absolutely the answer to our problem, because these students, of course, were not ACU students. So we couldn't use our normal LMS. We couldn't enroll them as ACU students easily without all sorts of complications, but they didn't have to be ACU students if we were to enroll them on open learning. So we built a course specifically for the needs of these students on open learning. So I'm just going to talk to you briefly about what we did, how we did it, and where to next. As I mentioned, this is a very small program, but the implications and the future could be very, very large. So we're hoping that will be the case. So what did we do? We built, next slide, please, Sophie. We built a course on open learning we built 3 separate 10-week modules, so 30 weeks altogether. The first 2 courses were called Writing for Higher Degree Research, Advanced Writing for Higher Degree Research, and then we built a 3rd course called Expert Writing for Higher Degree Research. Almost all of the content, well, in fact, all of the content was delivered asynchronously through open learning. A lot to do with the time difference as well. We weren't going to be able to do, well, I didn't personally want to deliver classes at 1 a.m. And I don't think any of my staff did either. So we wanted to deliver most of the content asynchronously, but we wanted it to be interesting, interactive, relatively simple, but sophisticated enough, because these were PhD students and, you know, quite mature in their appreciation of education as well. So we wanted it to be interactive and easy to understand, but we wanted it to be sophisticated enough that, you know, it was appropriate for our audience. We built the first 10 weeks ourselves based on talking to the partner, talking to the academics at the institution. We built the second and third 10 weeks based very much on how we engage with the students in the group, taking their needs, taking what they wanted, and building the content and then delivering the content through open learning based on the backwards and forwards through the workshop week about what they needed. So all of the content was delivered asynchronously through open learning, but we also had a 1.5-hour workshop every week for across the 30-week period with some holidays in between. So the students in Rome got up very early. I stayed a little bit late. And what we did, similar to what Jay was talking about, very much a flipped classroom kind of approach, we basically discussed, number one, anything that the students needed more clarification with, or clarification on from the course, and also what they needed help applying from the course to their own writing. So it was very much student to student and facilitated to student each week, talking about how anything they learned during that week on the open learning platform, how that could be applied to their own writing and to their own context. So it was very much a combination of us delivering content on the platform, interactive, interesting content that would keep their attention but be absolutely relevant to their needs, and then going over that every week. And that was also to ensure that we were delivering the right kind of content. Next slide, please, Sophie. Why did we do it? Well, as I said, I couldn't go to Rome. We needed to work out a way of meeting the needs of our partner in a different way. And open learning gave us the absolute unique opportunity to do that, because we couldn't deliver it easily through our Moodle that we use for our other students, that we use for our ELICOS students. Now, this was a very unique opportunity. I put this picture in there because this is not your traditional business partner, I suppose. This was a small, unique group of researchers in a distant country that needed our input and our guidance. So that's why we did it. But where can it go from there? What are the opportunities that flow on from there? So it was a bespoke course delivered and designed to meet the needs of this particular audience, but very much the way that we have built it and the way that it can be delivered through open learning, it can very much meet the needs of a much wider audience. And we are now discussing it with partners all over the world to deliver the same kind of course or the exact same course to a wider audience. And one of the reasons why we now have the confidence to do this is because we had such positive feedback and such an easy experience working both with the cohort of students that we worked with and working with the platform that we work with. So I've just included a little bit of the feedback from the students, and my particular favorite is most professional online course they've ever had. I didn't actually ask how many online courses they'd ever done. It might only be the only online course they've ever done, but still most professional, I'll take that. So it was very much a once-off opportunity, but with all of that work and discovering that we could do it so well on the open learning platform, we can take that now and build business, hopefully all over the world. And hopefully that doesn't mean that I never get to go visit another country to deliver a course. But even if we didn't have the resources to do that, we can now meet, as Gizelle said before, we can now meet business opportunities where they are rather than having to go to them. So it was a great experience and a very, very positive experience for future business. And also happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Donna, and I also say congratulations on the NIAS award that this course. Can you talk to us a little bit about that award?
Thank you. Yes, we received at the recent NIAS conference an award for online learning, an online course. And we received it for the first 2 modules because we put those 2 modules through NIAS quality assurance, just to make sure also that, you know, we had ticked all the boxes and this was a quality course, not just for the needs of this group, because we were confident that it was, but more broadly a quality course. And we were very humbled and excited to receive the award.
This is what I find really fascinating, because those are completely different types of audience. We're talking about students that are engaging for an online course to gain interest into the university. That's a pathway program. And we're here using an example of PhD students that needed to improve their language skills and the usage case of the platform. And we do have a very vast array of examples, from fully accredited degrees to short courses, which is really exciting. Thank you, Donna.
Yes, thank you, Gizelle.
There's a couple of questions that come in, but we are responding to it as we go. But I wanted to finish, we're finishing a couple few minutes earlier, but really with this powerful statement from the World Bank report on the power of edutech, which I thought was very interesting. We also, this is a QR code for anyone that wanted to get in contact with me and my team for a demo of the platform and a bespoke discussion on how we can work on your team in creating online courses and bringing online strategy to life. We can either work with your team or you can project manage that task to our team. And a big thank you for English Australia for hosting this webinar, and we are beyond excited to be the platform to provide the professional development for the English language sector in Australia.
Thanks, Gizelle, and thank you, Donna and Jay, as well, for today's webinar.
Thank you.